It's like you know both sides of the coin. You've been down in the trenches, so to speak, no pun intended, but also been up in the office, kind of calling the shots as well. It sounds like. So
that's the American dream, right? It's that process of starting out. We all start out with nothing, but we all have the ability to move up to do whatever we set our mind to do and that we want to pursue. It's that pursuit that is the American dream. It's not the finishing product.
So why politics?
Well, the first time I voted, I was in Iraq, and I voted for Bush at that time because he was the one that was going to get us into Fallujah. The other guy, whoever he was going to take us out of Iraq. We wanted to go into Fallujah because the Iranians were there, the Chechens were there, and all the other guys were there that killed our guys. There was a large IED blast that killed 10 of our Marines that were there, and that was a big thing back home, evidently. I found out later on. Of course, I wasn't here to know. But that was what set off the official, we're going to go in. And so we wanted to go in. And so all of us voted for Bush in that time. So that was my first time voting. But coming back, when you're out in the military for 10 years, especially during that time, you're just on deployment all the time. So coming back home, and then my last few years in, I was a combat instructor, so I was actually able to stay home for a while. And just listening to the news and everything that was going on in that time, this is 2011, 2012 time frame, and just seeing what was happening to the military back home just drove me up the walls. And it was all the politics at the time. We had a bunch of legislatures that were getting our guys killed on the ground out there because they want to try to police us as we're doing our work and just trying to finish the job out there. We had to deal with all that nonsense, and then coming back home, seeing in the media they're lying about us. When I was in Fallujah, I learned when I got back home that they were suggesting my unit, evidently I didn't realize that we were in the video, were killing civilians and burying them in shallow graves. Well, no, that wasn't the case. That was the enemy. They were burying their own guys in the shallow graves of homes that they took over after killing the civilians themselves that have the house. But we were the ones that were getting blamed for it. So I see all that going on, and it just drove me nuts. So I stayed. I haven't been like running for office or doing all that, but I've always paid attention to politics from California, coming out here. But I started in Cedar Hill. That's when I kind of made the choice. I finally had a job where I had a little bit of freedom and had a little bit of extra time. So the school board was going to try to pass a bond a few years back, so like 2019, right before COVID hit. And so I wanted to get involved. I wanted to be involved in my community and actually start participating in this stuff instead of complaining about it all the time, right? So they were trying to do the bond. I went to go push for it. That was Cedar Hill, hadn't had a bond in like 20-something years. The schools were falling apart. You could actually see the need for it, and I care about our public schools. So I wanted to see them get a bond. And at that time, if we passed the bond, it wouldn't have changed our property taxes at all. So absolutely, why would we not want to take care of them and get it done? So that was a fight. I got to experience both sides of the world of school bonds and dealing with all that. But then from there, to try to get the bond passed, the school board election was coming up, and there was a lady that was running that was just adamantly opposed to it, did not want to do it. So I threw my hat in the ring to say, hey, I'll run for the school board just for the sake of making sure she doesn't get on there because the rest of the folks on the board want to get it done. And so I got to run it for office. I did fairly well in that election, but it ended up being a three-way split. And another lady that was a friend of ours, she ended up getting elected, so it was great. But the bond, unfortunately, didn't pass, right? So there's an example. But that was my first kind of foray into the world of it. Things got busy from that, but then come along with this election and everything coming up and just seeing where everything's at, some of the frustrations with Austin, all of our frustrations with Congress. I was like, okay, lots of prayer, lots of consideration. I was like, you know what? I'll give it a go. Let me throw my hat in the ring. I got called from the DCRP. They were looking for folks to run. I was like, all right, I'll do it.